closure to the questions of different people, and maybe people looking after themselves, about teams going up, going down, Champions League places, maybe even Liverpool for the title. I think that has been the question sort of swirling around football, really, and that almost puts that question to an end now, and it's just whether the Premier League with UEFA, how it affects next season. But actually it just feels to me, when that statement came out from the Premier League today, I thought that was great leadership, and just sort of sending a message to everyone, this is what's happened, now we've got to find a way to make it work. And I think it puts a lot of questions to bed in some ways, and now we can start asking different ones.
And to some degree on the broader government guidelines and recommendations.
I think you're absolutely right, Kelly, and that's why I was critical 10 days ago about the Premier League, because the idea that they were willing to put 1 million people into football stadiums over a Premier League weekend and thinking they could just wing it and get away with it, to me was reckless. I felt as though when the Mikel Arteta situation was announced on that Thursday evening, and they essentially ended up with reactive leadership, they were made to look a little bit foolish, in my opinion.
Were they not? That come from the government, wasn't that the biggest problem? Actually, the government.
Yes, a piece of with music and a piece of what we are saying about what is happening to the Premier League. So welcome all to the Reanation station for today, well tonight, and yeah, we are going to be doing some good things tonight. But as you heard, it was Neville and Carragher, as they disagree on what the Premier League should have done and what they could have done. So enjoy this piece, and I'll join you afterwards.
Well, I was really impressed with the Premier League today, because I think, you know, Gary's mentioned about the economic side, there's obviously the health situation, but the Premier League are also looking at the football side of it also. And I think what they did in terms of saying the league will, basically I think they said today the league will finish at some stage. I think that's been the biggest question from a football point of view, really. There's lots of intricacies within that, but I think it almost gave closure to the questions of different people, and maybe people looking after themselves, about teams going up, going down, Champions League places, maybe even Liverpool for the title. I think that has been the question sort of swirling around football, really, and that almost puts that question to an end now, and it's just whether the Premier League with UEFA, how it affects next season. But actually it just feels to me, when that statement came out from the Premier League today, I thought that was great leadership, and just sort of sending a message to everyone, this is what's happened, now we've got to find a way to make it work. And I think it puts a lot of questions to bed in some ways, and now we can start asking different ones about how do we actually get where we need to get to, and the time scale of this season finishing, and also how it affects next season.
It's worth remembering, I suppose, as well, that there isn't actually any government advice about what football should be doing in this circumstance. The football world is working on their own information, and to some degree on the broader government guidelines and recommendations.
I think you're absolutely right, Kelly, and that's why I was critical 10 days ago about the Premier League, because the idea that they were willing to put 1 million people into football stadiums over a Premier League weekend and thinking they could just wing it and get away with it, to me was reckless. I felt as though when the Mikel Arteta situation was announced on that Thursday evening,
Yes, that has been what they think, and now here is what Match of the Day pundit Gary Lineker thinks about not just what happened in the Premier League so far, of course, but what should happen with players' wages. So here is a piece from Gary Lineker himself.
lost their big-name stars in wake of the coronavirus pandemic. The Professional Footballers Association has warned its players to speak to their union before accepting wage cuts. They've been criticised by politicians for living in, quote, a moral vacuum. Well, the broadcaster and former England player, Gary Lineker, joins me now. Hi, Gary. So, I mean, it's not really a great look, is it, when Premiership stars on maybe 100 grand a week are not taking pay cuts when people are being laid off at football clubs, maybe?
Well, I think we're a bit premature on this first and foremost. It's only in the last couple of days that clubs have announced their particular measures. They were clubs' announcements, of course, not players' announcements, which is a key difference. So let's see what transpires over the next week or two. As we all know, we're kind of following the curves of Spain and Italy. And in those countries, in the last few days, we've seen players take voluntary cuts at the likes of Barcelona and Juventus through a couple of weeks ago. So I think we're kind of following in their path in all sorts of things. And I expect and hope and think it's right that footballers will try and do their bit as we all get together in these extraordinarily difficult times.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the point is what the fans will think. Many of fans will have lost jobs, taken pay cuts, certainly employers may be going bust, tough times for the self-employed, and these guys, they're seeing sort of still getting their millions.
Well, as I say, that's the case at present, but don't think for 1 minute this is not being discussed by players all around the country. They'll be fully well aware of this. They're very young men, teenagers, early 20s. They need a little bit of guidance on this. PFA, from my experience, don't always give the best guidance, but that remains to be seen. But I think it's very important that football does play its part in this. Football will suffer massively, of course, because football, without football, means economic disaster for a lot of clubs. Obviously, the giants will survive, but it's really worrying for those further down the leagues. But I'm sure the big stars at the big clubs are looking at this and looking to do the right thing. It's not something that they can just make a decision overnight. They have to have a degree of togetherness on this. I've got no inside information, and if in a week's time we're still in the same position, then I'll start to doubt it as well. But I honestly think that we will hear things from players, and I expect probably in the next few days, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, they do have WhatsApp groups. They're not training, I get your point, they're not training, but they do have WhatsApp groups, so they could, organise something. But what sort of thing could emerge? Do you think there could be where some of the pay goes to lower league clubs that may be struggling to survive? What sort of thing could emerge, do you think?
Well, I think that's just why it's probably taken a little bit of time. I would imagine they're getting together. People say, yeah, it's difficult for them to all have meetings at the moment. Obviously, you just talk about WhatsApp groups, etc. But from my experience at football clubs, of which I have quite a lot, you only have a few players that you actually get on with. The rest of them you don't. So it's probably not that easy. Also, they are looking at various ways probably of helping, whether it's the staff at the clubs, if the club are not doing that, which has only just been.
Yes, that is that from Mr. Gary Lineker, and he has got a point. I hopefully all the big heads in the Premier League will think twice and make an effort to support the ones that need the money the most. But yeah, in terms of what will happen, I don't know, but the signs are good for like big footballers to put their money where their mouth is and basically cough up some of their own wages and go to help out when they can. So that's been that. Next up we're going to be talking about is what does the future hold for Top Gear? yeah, so Top Gear chat is going to happen now, and I hope that is to your benefit, because Top Gear is a fantastic TV program and has become a fantastic thing to have when basically there's nothing else on. We got the Grand Tour, of course, we got a load of other car shows. Well, not really, but we have got a great way of discussing cars and car shows. And yeah, it is fantastic to hear that there's loads of great car shows out there. I mean, there's Drive Tribe as well, which that is pretty epic. And so yeah, that is that. I do love Paddy McGuinness, Freddie Flintoff, and Harris, but it's not the same without the original trio, is it? It's like, what would you do when something else happens and maybe Top Gear will be no more? But that's just me. Let me know what you think, obviously, and yeah, because Top Gear, to me, I love it. I absolutely adore it. And with that, I think it's time to bring out the next topic, which is, of course, the Welshie way. Yes, the Welshie Way is a great TV series, even though it's not exactly on the telly. But the Welshie Way is a brand new show, a like spin-off to the Rean show. But in some aspects it's completely different, and you can tell once it's all released and finalised and all that on the Sam Rean YouTube channel, how similar it is to certain other shows. But the Welshie Way is going to be happening for sure. I filmed and completed a couple episodes recently, and they are looking good. So yeah, but if you do go on and enjoy that, you can always follow it up on the Sam Rean YouTube channel or on the social media of Sam Rean. And so yeah, it's going to be pretty epic. Can't say too much at the moment, but all I'm saying is that it features me. That's the most easy answer I could give. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. It is a show where I'm not really travelling around the world per se, like the Rean show is. But I don't know, the Welshie Way is a Welshie way in some ways. So it's going to come a similar time to the Rean show, perhaps in the summertime or later in the year, when all the real world matters calm down. And so yeah, hopefully it's going to be good, and I hope you enjoy it. So that is the Welshie Way. Next up is the EFL. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this segment, we are discussing what the fans think of the Premier League. I know I said EFL before, but this ties in with it. So this is a discussion featuring Arsenal Fan TV's Mr. DT himself and Adam and more. So I hope you enjoy and sit back and enjoy these conversations they have. So yeah, hope you enjoy and
Welcome
thank you.
back to the Football Terrace. Thank you all very much for tuning in. The Premier League is set to restart in July after a deal has been reached in private between the Premier League and the government. That's pretty big news, considering what Rio Ferdinand and others have been speaking about today. We, of course, want to gauge your reactions to this. We want to know your views, your thoughts. Is it too soon? Are you concerned about it coming back so quickly? What does this mean for the lower level clubs? What does it mean in terms of income? We've seen today the Juventus squad have confirmed they're all taking massive pay cuts to get their club through the financial difficulties. We're also going to have a little touch on Team of the Year today as well, because I am joined by a few guests whose faces you're now going to see on the screen. We are here with Have Hope. We've got Adam. We've got Daniel. And we have got Tom from Gooner Talk in a moment. I'm going to add into this as well. But gentlemen, how are we all?
Yo. It's the kid. The
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Have Hope back. Can you believe it? I'm going to add Tom in as well now. We're going to see Tom. There he is. How are you, mate? You good?
All good, mate. Thank you.
Good. So we'll jump into it. And whoever wants to speak first can do. The news is out, as I've already mentioned. And it looks as though the Premier League is going to try and restart in July. Of course, the caveat within this article, if people go and read it, is that, and I will highlight on the screen so people can see, is the Premier League is reportedly set to start again in July with matches behind closed doors, unless the corona situation in the UK worsens. So it's not a 100% cast iron guarantee. But gents, what's your thoughts to this? Good news that it's looking to come back, or do you think that maybe it's a little bit too soon?
I feel that there's no point in putting a date on anything. China haven't even officially restarted anything, and that's where it's started. Like, for me, I've always said that nobody needs to rush into any decision with regards to, okay, let's cancel things down, let's do these things down. But saying that, okay, yes, July, we're gonna How do you know in July that we're going to be out of the woods? Because as people have said, it could be a case of where, okay, cases have gone down, things look good, we now send everyone out, and then we now see that people now begin to now have the disease again, actually get infected again. I'll tell you a quick story. So a guy in Pakistan got infected by the disease. He then got better, celebrated with a group of his friends, and he got infected again. So it's like I'm
not laughing he got ill again, but celebrated, and the celebration made him sick again.
Yeah, no, but celebrating with like other people and groups of other people, he then got infected again. Yeah, so it's like I just think that I want the season to be restarted. You know, I think when we had the live talk, I said, you know what, end the season. I want the season to be restarted. Liverpool, you don't want a cheap ass title, because if the title gets given to you, it's not a real title; it's an asterisk. And I will always hold that with you for the rest of the year.
Tom on this, because I know we've heard from Adam and Daniel in the last few days. Tom, again, welcome to the. I think you've been on the show before, back in the day, a few years back. Back in the day. Welcome. First of all, let everyone know where they can find you, because they know everybody else on here. But I'd love your views, because you haven't kind of expressed them yet on the Football Terrace.
Yeah, you can find us over at the Gooner Talk TV. In terms of this, it's a crazy situation. I kind of agree what's been said about you can't really put a date on what's going on now. This is a completely evolving situation that changes every single day, to the point where we're getting daily press conferences from the government. And to say that it's going to restart in July so adamantly now seems quite naive, considering the fact that things are still accelerating, the curve is still on the up, it's exponentially increasing. You can't say that July is going to be when it dials down. It's simply not going to happen. So, it's an odd one. I don't actually side on the thing about scrapping the season just yet. I kind of see what La Liga has done with postponing things indefinitely for the moment, and I think that's probably the best way to do it, because the season doesn't have to start in August, September. It doesn't have to. We can just push it back, in my opinion. And it's a fluid thing, and so I think that it would be the most sensible choice to just postpone it indefinitely and start it back when we're ready to do that.
Yeah, I understand, and I think the comment we put up a few moments ago said that this could be something for the fans to nibble on, and it shows that they are doing their best to sort things out, because of course this story does contradict what the Daily Mail reported this morning, and Adam and Daniel, love your views on the fact that they've banned, well, I say banned, they have strongly worded to Premier League clubs to not use under any circumstances the words null and void in any kind of press release. And I want to pull on Daniel's view on this as massively, because you brought this up yesterday before the media did, but that's because if the government tell them by the end of July they can't finish the season because the government says it's not safe, they're pretty confident via their lawyers in the Premier League that the TV companies will not be able to take them to court and win and get their money back. So I'd love your thoughts on this story, but also what was said this morning about clubs can't use the word null and void.
Yeah, it's a weird one. The reason why yesterday I brought up the NBA was because whenever I watch the NBA media discuss this issue and how they're going to restart their season, there's full transparency. When they talk about potential dates, they explain what the owners have said and why they're considering these dates and what steps and measures they're taking to make sure the season can start again. We're not getting any of that information here for the Premier League. So we're told they can start in July potentially. They've agreed on this. But what measures are they going to take to make sure that actually happens? If the situation does get worse, do they have a measure in place that can sort of shield them against that? Because as I said to you, as I was saying yesterday, the NBA considering literally quarantining entire teams and staff members and isolating them for a short period of time so they can complete the season. Have Hope brought up the NBA in China. China tried to bring back, they've pushed back their dates twice now to start the Chinese basketball season again, because they don't know how the virus will spread once they open the borders again. I'm not hearing the English media discuss any of these things at all. It's really, really strange. And as far as the banning people from saying null and void, I think the campaign that the media started with to make sure Liverpool can get that title and to sort of, it's weird the way they just set this story like Liverpool must get the title no matter what. Every single time now you hear null and void, there's a negative reaction to it. I think that's part of why maybe they've banned people discussing that as well.
Adam, what? Sorry, go on, mate.
But just real quick before Adam, I think the key thing is you have to realize how many companies are literally dying right now with no football being around. So that's because because these are some of the biggest companies in England, i.e. Sky, BT Sports, because right now the amount of money they make off the Premier League, that's what it's the most lucrative league in the world. It's not the greatest league in the world in terms of football, but it's the most lucrative. So they're like,
because it's the best.
We have to start this. We have to. Look, man. We'll get to the We'll get there. It's that.
You again today, bro. You're going to school. You're going to school again today.
Look.
I
came prepared. I came prepared with my tools, with my shield and my sword. But just very quickly before, I think they don't want that whole null and void because they're like, the sooner we get these players on the pitch, the better. And it goes to what Wayne Rooney was saying, that we are getting treated like cannon fodder. They don't really care about our health. They just want to get back to making money because by each look, I had to cancel BT Sports and Sky because I'm like, look, sorry guys, what am I paying for? this of the last 3 or 4 months, so I can't keep paying £20 for my BT Sports. I'm sorry, I'm out. So they're losing money.
Adam, I mean, do you find it strange that there's such a negative reaction to the words null and void? The I would say 95% of journalists are so eager for Liverpool to win the title, and the fact they're throwing the words out like the integrity of the game. And I pointed out earlier on to a few Liverpool fans, like, for me, the true integrity of the game is football doing the right thing for society, keeping as many clubs afloat as possible. And I don't, Drifty's not here to defend himself, but you kind of heard him yesterday. Like, a lot of Liverpool fans, they want the result that's best for them. If it means 20 or 30 clubs in England go bankrupt and close forever, they don't seem to care. I mean, what's your reaction to it starting again? Do you think that's too soon? And why this obsession with the media of, like, we have to give it to them no matter what?
I think everyone's touched on it, really. We don't know what's going to happen. Coronavirus is an unknown entity. And someone just said in a comment just there that until we have a vaccine, we really don't know what's going to happen because it's unpredictable and everything's a bit up in the air right now. So to say it's going to happen by July, I think is a stretch. And personally, I don't see it happening. But the thing with null and void, I think language and words carry a lot of power anyway, more than I think a lot of people give them credit for. And once people start throwing around stuff like null and void, I think that whole narrative will begin to pick up pace and momentum by itself, which will then lead to calls for it to be cancelled. And obviously, nobody wants that to happen for Liverpool.
Gentlemen, sorry to interject. I need to just something I want to change. I want to share this on the screen if I can. There's a slightly different statement with a slightly different feel that's been released by, I'm going to get this up on the screen right now, from the UEFA president. Again, and this is interesting because when and this is my problem with everything, that article in the Express that we've been sharing, I've seen it for the last hour and a half with the Liverpool fans start to pick up pace and to start trending. I've seen all the pro-Liverpool journalists sharing it, talking about it. I've had 2 send it to me directly going, we told you. And then you see a comment, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for everyone to see right about now, from the UEFA president, who admits that European football season will probably be lost if it doesn't restart by the end of June at the latest. Which, again, I think, for me, echoes what you've all said on here, that they're going to try and start it again. But if the corona hasn't cleared up enough for it to be safe, they're going to end it. And I believe, well, I haven't been shown the figures, it's just my belief, that financially football will be in a better position to cut its losses at a particular point and start all over again. And the fact that you have the president of UEFA coming out for a second time and talking about this. But my question is more, why is this going to be ignored, or why is this going to be sort of brushed under the carpet and denied by Liverpool supporters. And I'm going to focus in and go really big so they can. If you've got bad eyesight, you can definitely read what he said here. But it said, I'm serious because I want people to know. Like it says, nobody knows when the pandemic will end. We have I actually, I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to sound like a right arrogant twat, but I told you they would do this. They've got a plan A, plan B, plan C to restart the season mid-May, in June, or at the end of June. If then we wouldn't be able to do these things, the season would probably be lost. There is also the possibility of the season possibility of ending this season at the start of the next, which would then be postponed starting a little later. So there is still the possibility, like we've said before, that they may extend this league by 4, 5, 6 months and start next season. What I think he's leaving out of that statement is we will review this and we'll make the best decision that financially suits all football clubs. So I think for me, what I want to see, and I've said this in my stream earlier, and I'll pump it down the throats again of Liverpool fans. I don't want Liverpool supporters being led up the garden path. I don't want them thinking, oh, look, all the pro media, the Melissa Reddies of this world and all of the Liverpool fan channels and all of the lovies. Yeah, whatever her name is. These people don't say one negative thing about Liverpool or present one negative outcome for them. I just think that's dangerous. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, I'll ask Tom, as an Arsenal fan, wouldn't you like to know how the road actually lies ahead? The good, the bad, the indifferent? Or would you just rather be fed almost like a child as if you're living in fucking Rainbow Land?
Maybe it's just the fact that we're so used to that being the norm as fans, not knowing what's going on means that I feel like it wouldn't affect. I feel like it's not going to affect my daily life not knowing what's going to happen. In my opinion, it's not going to affect me too much because it's not. Football isn't the priority in my mind in this situation. It just isn't. So to know.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Now, in this section, it's all about one chant and one team. In this section, is all about Cardiff City. Yep, it is indeed the Cardiff City segment in this little segment on the programme. We are going to be discussing everything Cardiff City in this part of the show, and it's going to be interesting to find out what is going to be the latest concerning Cardiff City, of course. So, just to let you all know, this is Neil Warnock. This is Neil Warnock, of course. Right. Yeah, so this is going to be... this is basically the truth on... the truth about the officials of the Premier League. Now, when Cardiff got promoted first time, we were incredible. We did not play the greatest of football, but after 53 years, we got promoted. Cardiff City then went on to create wonderful memories and touching tributes to the late of Emiliano Sala. Throughout the season, they have been battling far and in between. And now here is the actual reason why the Bluebirds got relegated back to the Championship.
Neil, commiserations. Sum up your thoughts for us on an incredibly frustrating afternoon for you.
It's difficult because obviously I'm really flat at the moment. I'm so proud of my players today. I thought we played. We didn't want to sit behind the ball and not make it exciting. We wanted to have a go, and like I say, really proud how we played. And to get let down by officials, it's roll on VAR. Whether I'll be too old to see VAR, but that's why you need VAR because if you can't see offside from across with a flag it's not even close. We worked 3 weeks for this, and we get let down by decisions. We felt that Morrison could quite easily have had a penalty in the first half. We thought he could have quite easily had a penalty in the second half. We thought it could have been a red card. We thought Ken Zaho was getting to the ball first. So no major decisions went for us. And, for the linesmen, they don't realise what's at stake. I mean, if I was Burnley fan and Southampton and all these Brighton fans, they'd be absolutely loving it today. And you can't blame them, really. But... we've had one. I've had one kick in the teeth after another this season, and the players have as well. But we've always bounced back. So I'll probably play the 23s on Wednesday at Man City, and then get ready for Burnley. We've got some good games left, and you saw today we're not going to lie down. It's almost like not who you play, it's who you get to referee and who's going to have a flag in their hand. Nowadays, it's just as important.
What on earth was going through your mind, therefore, when you stood out on the pitch in front of the officials at the end there?
All the hard work we've done, all the hard work in the last 3 weeks, and it's none of our faults that an official can't see across the line at the most obvious offside that I've ever seen. And it's just you just can't believe it. Like the Watford penalty just before half-time a few weeks ago, 1-0 down. Could have been one each, and the ref apologises after. The most certain penalty I've ever seen. What goes through your mind? You don't know. Is it me, or is it payback time for me over the years? Am I thinking, let's get him out of the way? I honestly don't know. But the best league in the world, and probably the worst officials at the minute. I don't know what Mike Riley does with the linesmen, because if you can't see that clearly, there's something wrong with you, really. And he'll probably get another game next week and probably say sorry to me after the game. They don't understand what's at stake. Clive White, who was the PFA guy here, he's saying about, he's too passionate and all. Come on, what's at stake? This is the game of football in England's Premier League. And when you see things like that, it does make you passionate. That's what we're in the bloody game for. They shouldn't make mistakes like that at this level. Why am I working at 70 years of age to see things like that? I'm just so proud of the whole club today. I thought the fans were brilliant, and I thought the team was.
Neil, on the first goal, was that something that you'd been working on to try and push the players out to actually catch a team offside?
Yeah, the lads have said that. Well, Gaffer, what do we do now? What do we do now? I mean, we worked on that quite a lot, and it's all we look good at set pieces defending wise today. But what do you do? I haven't. Not very often. I'm lost for words, is it really?
Rudiger at the end there, definite red for you?
I thought so. It could have been a red, It could. I mean, you give a benefit of doubt, don't you? But I think Ken's getting to the ball beforehand. But I mean, there were worse decisions than that. I thought that Morrison's 2 challenges, I thought Rudiger on Morrison 53 minutes was a penalty. I thought the first half one was, and he's in a great position, Craig. So does he not want to give? Why does he not want to give him? Simple as that. It's, you know, like I say, the sooner that VAR comes in, especially for the smaller clubs. I think smaller clubs sometimes get a little bit punished, you know, for that. But and they do need help, you know. I know they'll say they genuinely didn't try and make a mistake, but they've got to be better than that. The linesman's got to be better than that. What have you?
Yes, that has been the Warnock after the defeat against Chelsea, which ultimately decided our fate. Some may say it was due to the Fulham game, but, Cardiff fought long and hard for this chance to not just stay and just have one-off seasons in the Prem, but to have a long, successful run in the Prem, just like the neighbours Swansea. But after relegation back to the Championship, Warnock had a lot of things to discuss and to do. First of all, he got rid of the likes of Gunnarsson and Manga, the 2 staple players which ultimately knew Cardiff City through in and out, and with Gunnarsson departing, that left a big hole in the heart of Cardiff. And so with that, Warnock thought he brought in the likes of Aidan Flint, Marlon Pack and Will Volks, amongst a few others. So with that, things got off alright. Then the problem was appearing that we just couldn't win away. And eventually, rumours started to circulate around the club, and eventually the Bristol City home game was the last nail in the coffin for Cardiff City's manager Neil Warnock. So here is the thoughts of fans in and around Cardiff on the departure of managerless Neil Warnock.
Look at that sign there. It says, "I'll be there." Everybody, of course, except for Neil Warnock, who through mutual agreement has left Cardiff City. But was it time for him to go? He done all right, didn't he? I mean, you know, they've gone to the Premiership. And they did lose against Swansea and Bristol recently. You know, the Salah stuff, that must have been tough for him as well. Was it time for Warnock to leave?
Absolutely devastated. Neil Warnock, you know, I think his time was coming to an end anyway. But let's be honest, he's done enough for that club, and we'll always welcome him back. I think we might struggle, but I think the passion will keep us going. I really think we'll still do well at this season.
Do you think it was time for him to go?
Yes, it was time for him to go last when he went to Swansea. I went to Swansea to watch him. It was time for him to go then.
Why do you think that is? Because he's done well, isn't he?
Yes, he have done well. Yes, you are right. He have done well. But the end of the day is, when a manager goes and haven't done well this season, he needs to go, don't he? Because he don't even know what his team is. He got us into the Premiership. He done well for us. But we're not going there this season. I don't think we are. So at the end of the day, he needed to go. He needed to say ta-ra to him, didn't he?
Okay, I mean...
And I tell you who's going to be the manager now. I think Robert Dinshaw should be the manager.
Why?
Because he knows Cardiff through and through. Do you know what I mean? He's in Cardiff now, at the moment. But I would love him to become manager.
So as things started to circulate after the departure of Neil Warnock himself, people were speculating who could have been and who should have been. And who could have been, actually, because when people thought Sol Bamba, but he's still playing and he is still trying to get his badges for managing. Others pointed at the Charlton manager because for obvious reasons. It was between him and managerless Neil Harris. And here is Neil Harris as brand new Cardiff City manager. I hope you enjoy. Here he is. He's coming. In a few moments' time. Here he is.
Congratulations on your appointment. Can you tell us firstly your feelings, how excited you are to get stuck into this job?
Well, it's a privilege to be here. You know, it's a great opportunity. I've not left Mill 7 weeks ago, and I've had a good rest. Got to be honest, recharge the batteries, and this is a wonderful job to come into. Following Neil, who's done a fantastic job here in the last 3 years. Obviously, a challenge following him certainly in his footsteps. But I've got a wonderful group of players that have achieved individually and collectively. That I can put my own stamp on, but it's certainly a privilege and honour to manage this football club. When I went into Millwall's in my first job 4.5 years ago, I had to build relations between the terraces and the football pitch, between the academy and the first team, and try and bring it all together. And to see at the moment, it's been a wonderful recent history at this club, and this year's been a little bit more difficult. Obviously, tough year last year for everybody connected to the club. So, I bring my humility to the club to manage the players. With that huge energy and excitement about the challenge. Still, obviously young. My assistant David Livermore young. So, we bring that enthusiasm to the group. Principles on the pitch to be the manager is the same way as I played. Wholehearted, aggressive in the attitude. Certainly want to play front foot, but a mix between passing the ball and getting the ball forward at the right times is ultimately working with a group of players that have been recruited previously into the way they play. It's not revolution overnight, certainly not. You have to build these things, but to work with the players I've got and just put my own stamp on it. But we want to be an aggressive team, certainly want to do that. I don't think there is a Neil Warnock Mark II. I think he's his own man and respectful towards that. I'm my own man, so I have to be respectful to the players I've got. I don't want to come in and change overnight. We can't change overnight. There has to be a process to that, and it takes time. But ultimately, I want to adjust the mindset of the players. It's not just one style of play. You have to find a way of beating the opponent, and every game will be different. We've certainly got to be disciplined and structured and organised straight away. We've seen, just going back to the previous question about us being favourites for a top 6 finish. Ultimately, that's going to be the aim, is to get to the top 6.
So yes, Neil Harris became our manager. He has got us very, very close to the dreaded playoffs before all this has happened. So that's been that. But the most funny thing, the most unique thing, the most interesting thing was of AFTV and how they interpreted and what they thought should happen to their team, Arsenal, when they travelled to Cardiff City. A match I thought that Cardiff should have won. Here is AFTV when they travelled to the Cardiff City Stadium for Cardiff City versus Arsenal FC.
Are we on live?
AFTV down here at Cardiff City. A lovely stadium, by the way. I like it.
It's all right outside. You want to see it inside. It's brilliant.
Better?
Well, Wales play that. It's not as bad.
It's better than Swansea Stadium.
Well, Swansea Stadium is Subbuteo, where what's it called? State of the art stadium.
State of the art.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, listen, predictions for today's game. I know that you guys have had a pretty well. It hasn't been a great start. You haven't got any. You haven't scored a goal yet. But predictions for today's game.
It'll be either 2-1 to Cardiff City or a 1-1 draw.
You ain't scored a goal yet. Where are you going to get 2 from?
Well, you'll score 2 own goals, won't you?
Confident today?
Yeah, man. It's going to be hard, though, you understand? Because these lot, they put in a lot of work on set pieces, you understand? And our defence is a bit mad right now, you get me? So we have to be careful on the set piece situation. Otherwise than that, like, I think we got this still, you get me?
Not too sure. It's a tough game. Take a point, probably. Maybe nick a 1-0 win.
Mo, where have you just been?
Where do you think?
I don't want to say it.
Aston Martin dealership. Where else? That's
you was over there by Greg's. You went over to Greg's. That's not a good look, you know. You know the rumours.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I see Greg's on my timeline every day, so obviously I crave it now.
Just by the way, right, that Greg's rumour, he wasn't even actually at the game, right? So just to
quash
that.
Tell you what, let's up the ante. If, let's say, for example, if it was true, if I was being chased by a mob of angry Tottenham fans down Tottenham High Road, surely someone would have pulled out a smartphone, right? Surely someone would have taken a picture, someone would have taken a video. So if anyone can give me proof of that happening, I'll give you $5,000 as a reward.
You know what? I reckon, though, that Greg should sponsor you. Because
big time, man. Yeah, big time.
You know, I'd love to see the advert of you running into.
Yeah, man, I'd love that. But there's the gauntlet. Anyone that can give me proof, $5,000, and also I'll give you Greg's for a year.
Aaron Ramsey returning back here. Do you think you'll get a nice warm welcome?
You'll get a good reception, but on the pitch you're going to be roughed up.
Yeah.
Oh yes. You know, when Aaron Ramsey gets a ball, all he had to do was look at the goalkeeper all the time. Hello, Petter. You are. Not where he should be, looking that way. Because you know, when Rals and Camisara. Camisara, that's our new Victor Camisara, that's the new Spanish midfielder we got. And Harry Arter, of course, you know, I can't forget him. You know,
you're feeling confident?
Yeah, 2-1 or 1-1 draw.
We should be coming to places, no disrespect to Cardiff, we've got to be coming to places like this and getting results. If we're going to get into the top 4, we've got to change what happened last season, which we came to places like this and left with defeats or draws.
Well, the first away game there was a good sign, you understand? Obviously, we was unfortunate. But if we perform how we did then, but take the chances we create, then we'll have no problem, fam. We'll leave with the 3 points, you understand? It's just finishing our dinner, you get me? But I believe we will finish the dinner, fam.
You lost 2-0 to Bournemouth. You ain't actually scored yet, so is it all about keeping it tight?
Yeah, with Bournemouth, it's quite...
Yes, that is... that was when Arsenal and AFTV turned up at the Cardiff City Stadium. We all know what happened then. So, yeah. Sorry, apologies if this show has been a bit odd. But rest assured, tomorrow's show is going to be epic. I'm going to do one. I might do one in the day, so look out for that, as well as nighttime, of course. This mainly has been the Cardiff City show-ish. So yeah, I hope you enjoy everything I have discussed today, or tonight, and tonight. My name's Sam Reen, of course, and follow me on social media. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. That's me all over social media, so make sure you show love and support. And yeah, thank you all for watching. My name's Sam Reen. This is the Reanation station, and until next time, goodbye.